Hey, it's your girl Katishi, and welcome back to my channel. Y'all know I'm trying to figure out this new thing with YouTube, what works best for me, so I can continue being on here and being consistent. And today, I just did not feel like being in front of the camera. It's not it today. I am having a tough day, and I don't feel like being in front of the camera, smiling and delivering this message, but as I was repotting my plants, as everybody knows, I love planting things, being in the garden, as also love beekeeping. And as I was planting, people always ask me when I girl, I don't have the patience to do that. I do not have the patience to keep, or the time to keep watering and nurturing a plant. I don't know how you do it. And by me doing that and hearing that, I got a word in it, ironically. We often plant seeds, as in our prayer, and wish that God will answer those prayers by the end of the week. And if you use the analogy of planting a seed, when you plant a seed, you have hopes and faith that whatever you plant in the ground will grow. So, for example, when I go in the garden and I plant a tomato seed, I have hopes that it will grow. And in the midst of it, being in the ground, we don't see it. We don't know what's going on. We just water it. We kill the weeds around it. We nurture it. We keep the soil. We fertilize the soil. We keep everything, the ground, to where it needs to be, so the foundation is prepared for when a tomato comes up. And that's kind of like us in prayer. When we plant a seed, we have to continue to, nurture it, continue to do the work, continue to keep the faith. And we tend to lose the faith in the physical realm when we don't see the fruits of our labor. We tend to try to make matters in our own hands. But if we go back to the analogy of planting a tomato in a garden, we don't see that things are happening, but when they are happening at the same time, if you get my drift. Like when you plant a seed in the ground, you don't know that it's growing. You just keep your faith, right? But it is growing. A seed has to grow down first. You have to get roots. You have to get anchored. You have to build a foundation it has to build a foundation to, withstand what it's going to go through when it pierces the ground. It's kind of like us. A lot of us have planted this seed in hopes and, waiting for the Lord to run on our path. And it's been weeks, it's been months, it's even been years. And we don't see anything, but not realizing the works that we're doing in the midst is like the roots in that seed. We're building foundation. We're building ground. We're anchoring down. And then we'll start to see the light of day. Just like the tomato seed. We'll start to see it growing and piercing through the ground. As long as we continue to nurture it, continue to work, continue to pour, continue to keep the faith that we will reap a beautiful harvest. And eventually the seed will start sprouting. You'll start seeing the sun glowing on your face again. You'll start to grow strong and be able to carry the harvest that comes from it. It's just like a tomato seed. If it doesn't have a strong foundation at the bottom, as soon as the tomatoes start to bloom, it's not prepared for it. It's going to tip over. So that's kind of like us. We get frustrated at the fact that we don't see the blessings coming in. Trust me, y'all. Just remember what I'm telling y'all. I'm telling for myself, because this was a word for me. Like, I was like, Lord, oh, okay, Lord. Okay, because sis is struggling. Sis is literally like, I've been praying, fasting for things, knowing that certain seasons have their time period. Certain seasons have, doors close. You go through a season and then stuff just change. And that's exactly what's happening in my life. And I'm just trying to realize that certain things is changing. I'm planting the seed, keeping the faith. And I have to realize that I'm in isolation. I'm in a time where I don't see the harvest, and it's hard to keep the faith. But I know God's timing, and that's another critical thing. God's timing, just like in the garden, there's a time for when the seed has to be in the ground. There's a time for when the roots start growing and taking roots. There's a time for when the seed is strong enough for its growth to reach all the way to this top and to be able to pierce the ground above it. There's a time and a place, just like God's timing. There's a time for us to be planted. There's a time for us to grow roots. And then there's a time for us to kind of bloom and come out of the isolation or wherever you at, for you to fully shine. And then once you out that isolation, you get a harvest, just like a tomato. Once it gets out of that dark period of that isolation and it grows and it becomes strong, this strong piece of a stem stalk, and then it starts blooming flowers, and then, well, you have a tomato and it's strong enough to carry the harvest. Sometimes the blessings that God has for us, maybe we're not strong enough to carry it right now. And we don't see that. We think we are. And another thing is that we don't even know how big the blessing can be for us. We're thinking small and God thinking big. So my next encouragement for y'all, as I'm encouraging myself every day, is to stay fast, stay strong, and know that even though you don't see the fruits of your labor right now, just know you're like that seed you planted. It has to grow down first to get a strong foundation in order for it to go up and be a real solid foundation for your harvest. So if you're in the same period as me, feeling alone, feeling isolated, distance from everything, the world's just happening around you and you're just in this incubator period, just know we're just that seed in this ground right now, and we're building roots, we're building foundation. So when we come out of this, we will be stronger than we ever knew. And we'll be able to hold all the blessings that God has for us in our harvest season. So that is all I have for today. And you guys stay blessed, stay obedient, and wait on God's timing. Until next time.